Hello, Scorpio. If you've been sensing a tension building lately, like something unspoken hanging heavy in the air, you're not imagining it. I'm Selena Hart, and today's message is not here to flatter you, but to ground you in a truth that's already unfolding beneath the surface. You didn't just cause a disruption by accident. Whether through your words, your actions, or even your silence, you've triggered a deep emotional ripple in someone close, and that wasn't random. It was a moment designed by the universe, using your fiery presence as a catalyst. What's happening now is part of your larger spiritual mission, to stir what's been stagnant, to bring truth where illusions have lingered. And yes, Leo, that sometimes means being the one who unknowingly lights the match in a room full of dry leaves. But this isn't the end of the story, far from it. What comes next is where your strength and self-awareness will be tested in ways that shape who you are becoming. Let's walk through this together. This moment you're in, it may feel harsh, unfair, even isolating, but it is not a punishment. The conflict surrounding you right now is not here to destroy you, it's here to reveal you. You may be facing accusations you never expected, a heavy silence from someone you thought you understood, or even the sting of multiple people choosing to turn their backs at once. But this isn't about rejection. It's a mirror, a test of emotional maturity and spiritual responsibility. And you, Scorpio, with all your depth, intensity, and emotional insight, you were built for this. You see, when you move through the world with such raw emotional power, you're bound to awaken hidden wounds in others. It's part of your nature. Your presence excavates the truth. But now, that truth has stirred something uncomfortable both in you and in those around you. This is a test not of your worth, but of your growth. How you respond will reveal just how far you've come in owning your power without using it as a weapon. The universe isn't asking you to prove you're right. It's asking whether you can stand in the discomfort of being misunderstood without letting it poison your spirit. This challenge is asking you, can you take accountability without collapsing into guilt? Can you stay true to your emotions without letting them control you? Can you rise from this rupture, not bitter, but wiser, softer, and more discerning? Scorpio, you're not being punished. You're being refined. And what survives this fire will be the clearest expression of who you're meant to become. Keep your heart open, even as it aches. This is a breaking that makes room for breakthrough. And as the emotional waves continue to rise and fall, Scorpio, there's something larger unfolding beneath the surface, something more powerful than the conflict itself. This moment isn't random, and it isn't just about the people involved or the words exchanged. It's about what's being unearthed. What's coming to light now are the truths you may have sensed, but couldn't quite name. The illusions are burning away. The relationships that were built on pretense, convenience, or silent compromises, they're beginning to fall apart because your soul no longer has the patience to maintain what is false. This conflict was the spark, but the collapse you're witnessing is the natural consequence of misalignment. And yet, there's something else, something beautiful if you're brave enough to see it. The bonds that do survive this moment, that hold firm under the weight of emotional chaos, those are the ones that are meant to stay. They're showing you where loyalty, truth, and unconditional connection truly exist. This is the great purification, Scorpio. And while it may feel like loss, it's actually liberation. You are being set free from relationships, roles, and responsibilities that were never truly yours to carry. But the meaning of this chapter doesn't stop at what's ending. It's about who you are becoming. This is the call to move from a reactive version of yourself into one that is deeply intentional. You are no longer meant to respond out of instinct alone. The Scorpio who once lashed out when cornered, who clung to control out of fear of being hurt again, that version of you has served its purpose. It was necessary. It protected you when you didn't know how to protect yourself otherwise. But now the universe is asking for your evolution. It's time to trade survival for wisdom. This is where your transformation takes root. You are being invited to lead, not with your wounds, but with your healing. To show your strength, not by domination, but by discernment. To feel everything, yes, but to no longer let those feelings dictate how you respond. This is not about becoming softer in a way that makes you small. It's about becoming wiser in a way that makes you unstoppable. The Scorpio who emerges from this fire will not be the same. And that's the point. You're learning to hold power without needing to wield it recklessly. You're discovering that emotional intelligence is not weakness, but the highest form of mastery. You see, Scorpio, this isn't a punishment. It's a rebirth. You're being shaped into the version of yourself that can carry your truth without crushing others under its weight. You're learning to speak with clarity, not just intensity, to love with boundaries, not just passion, to release with grace, not just silence. This is not the end of your story. It's the moment you begin writing a new one with more truth, more depth, and more alignment than ever before. Keep going. The storm isn't here to break you, it's here to make you real. So now, Scorpio, the question isn't whether what happened was fair or who was more hurt. It's about what you choose to do with it. The storm has already passed through, revealing the fragile places in you and others. And while it may be tempting to retreat into defensiveness or to seek validation from others, this is the moment when your healing truly begins. Not by denying what happened, not by justifying your actions, but by looking inward and asking yourself, what part of me created this? What wound, what unmet need, what emotion was I really expressing beneath the surface? The first act of transformation is responsibility. And not the kind that shames or silences you, but the kind that sets you free. This is not about blaming yourself for everything that unfolded. It's about owning your role in it with courage. Maybe you spoke too harshly. Maybe you withdrew when someone needed you present. Or maybe you ignored your intuition and now you're facing the aftermath. Whatever it was, acknowledge it. Not as a weakness, but as a step into your own maturity. You're not here to be perfect. You're here to evolve. And evolution begins when you can say, yes, I did that, and now I will do better. Next, prepare your heart for the conversations that may still come. The other person, perhaps still hurt, still angry, might return with words that are meant to sting. But you, Scorpio, must remember, your power is not in how loudly you respond, but in how deeply you remain rooted in your center. Hold your dignity like armor. You don't need to prove your pain or defend your truth at the cost of your peace. Speak clearly, listen fully, and if necessary, let silence be your strength. This is how emotional warriors navigate battle, by choosing presence over pride. But don't stop there. If you truly want to break the cycle, you must go even deeper. Ask yourself, what triggered me? What made me feel unseen, unsafe, or out of control? Because every reaction, no matter how explosive, comes from a place that once felt helpless. And Scorpio, your healing lies not just in awareness, but in compassion for that younger version of you, the one who didn't know how to pause, how to breathe, how to say this hurts without fire in their voice. When you identify those triggers, you take back your power. You become the one who responds, not the one who reacts. You begin to guide your own story rather than be swept away by the unresolved echoes of your past. And finally, this is your invitation to rise, not in dominance, but in wisdom. Your intensity is not a burden, it's a divine gift. But like any gift, it must be used with intention. This is your time to refine it, to direct it like a blade that cuts through illusion, not connection. Let this conflict teach you how to hold your fire in one hand and your compassion in the other. Let it show you how to set boundaries that protect your heart without shutting it off. Let it teach you how to stay when your instinct is to run, or to release when your instinct is to control. Scorpio, this is not the end of you. This is the awakening of a more strategic, more grounded, more spiritually aligned version of yourself. Use this moment not to defend who you were, but to step fully into who you're becoming. The world doesn't need you to be perfect. It needs you to be whole. And that's exactly what you're on the path to becoming. And so, Scorpio, as the dust continues to settle and your heart beats a little slower in the quiet that follows the storm, you arrive at a sacred threshold, a spiritual crossroads not everyone is willing to face. This conflict, with all its messiness, emotion, and rupture, is not just a dramatic episode in your life. It is a divine invitation. A portal has opened, not outside of you, but within your soul. One path leads toward retreat, where the old versions of you still cling to survival and self-protection. Another path leads toward reaction, where pain lashes out in search of power. But then there is a third path, the higher one, the harder one, the one meant for the evolved Scorpio. And that path is transformation. You are being asked to stand in the fire, not to be consumed by it, but but to be refined through it. This is your moment to choose alchemy over anger, to transmute the energy of conflict into the fuel of spiritual growth. What if this entire experience didn't come to ruin you, but to reveal the part of you that has longed to be seen, the version of you that is powerful and gentle, protective and open, brave and deeply kind? That version is not a fantasy. It's already within you, waiting to rise through the cracks of your pain. And you are not alone in this. Even if others have walked away, even if voices have turned cold or critical, the universe stands beside you like a silent witness, watching you step into the highest expression of who you were born to become. The truth is, your soul chose this moment long before your mind could understand it, because somewhere deep inside you knew it was time to release old patterns, outdated identities, and stories that kept you locked in cycles of hurt and defense. You knew it was time to become someone who no longer reacts just to survive, but responds with the wisdom of one who has already died and come back stronger. You are not here to destroy everything that threatens you. You are here to transmute it. You are not here to disappear into the shadows. You are here to rise from them. The world doesn't need a Scorpio who hides their scars. It needs a Scorpio who wears them as proof of rebirth, who shows others what it looks like to break and heal and rise again with softer eyes and a wiser heart. This conflict is a turning point, yes, but it is also a gift in disguise. And when you choose to meet it with grace, when you commit to your own evolution rather than retaliation, something sacred happens. You don't just change your relationships, you change your destiny. So take a breath, stand tall, and walk forward, not as who you were, but as who you are finally ready to be. The storm didn't break you, it built you, and the path ahead is yours to walk with strength, with softness, and with a soul on fire for truth. And Scorpio, perhaps the deepest layer of this transformation, the one you didn't expect to touch so directly, is the shift occurring within your family connections. Because when the soul evolves, it doesn't only shake the surface, it cracks the roots. You may have noticed it already. Certain family members pulling away, responding with silence, or challenging your choices with judgment wrapped in concern. Perhaps the conflict you're navigating has revealed long-held resentments, unspoken expectations, or the quiet pain of being misunderstood by those who were supposed to know you best. And while that may hurt more than anything, it is also where your soul is doing its most sacred work. Family for a Scorpio is never just about blood, it's about energetic bonds, karmic contracts carried through generations. Sometimes you're the one who sees too much, feels too deeply, asks the questions no one else dares to ask. Sometimes you're the one who breaks the cycle, and in doing so, becomes the misunderstood one. But breaking away from inherited pain is not betrayal. Choosing growth over tradition is not rejection. You're not dishonoring your roots by becoming more of yourself. You're healing what came before you. In fact, this conflict may be showing you exactly where emotional roles in your family have become fixed, unbalanced, or outdated. Perhaps you've been the emotional container for everyone else's turmoil. Perhaps you were the scapegoat, the silent one, the peacemaker, or the storm. But you don't have to keep playing that role. This is your invitation to rewrite the narrative, to allow love without losing yourself, to hold space without holding everyone else's weight. And yes, there may be backlash. Some family members may not understand this new version of you. They may say you've changed, that you're being selfish, distant, or too intense. Let them. They are witnessing your liberation, and it makes them uncomfortable, not because you've hurt them, but because your transformation demands they reflect on their own. You are not here to fix your family. You are here to free yourself. And in doing so, you may eventually become the one who heals what has been wounded for generations, not by pleasing, but by embodying truth. So let this chapter be not just the moment you transform your life, but the moment you shift your lineage. Let it be the time when you stop shrinking to keep the peace and start expanding to create something real. You are not the broken one, Scorpio. You are the breaker of chains. And your family's greatest evolution may begin with the courage it takes for you to say, "This ends with me." So Scorpio, if you've made it this far, if your heart is still open, even just a little, then know this, you are already on the path of transformation. This conflict, this breaking point is not the end. It's the doorway. You are being called into a new era of your life, one shaped not by old pain or inherited roles, but by conscious choice, emotional integrity, and spiritual depth. Let the storm teach you, let the silence shape you, let the discomfort cleanse you of what no longer resonates with your truth. You were never meant to fit into the version of yourself others expected. You were meant to become more grounded, more awakened, more aligned. And that becoming doesn't require anyone's permission. It only requires your presence. Remember, the power you carry isn't just in your ability to survive. It's in your ability to rise with tenderness, with wisdom, and with unwavering clarity about who you are and what you deserve. I'm Selena, and I believe in the version of you that's emerging, fierce but forgiving, bold but balanced. The version that leads with soul, not ego. The version that heals not by controlling others, but by liberating yourself. Until next time, Scorpio, walk gently, speak truthfully, and trust that every rupture is making space for something more real to be born.